Boom. All right, I think we are good to go, man. I think
What's the topic tonight?
Freemasonry. We're going to talk about Freemasonry.
You don't say.
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, Dennis is coming back from
As
New
it pertains
Mexico.
to the Golden Dawn, or what?
Well, I want to hear how the conference was in New Mexico, the Masonic
Man, it
Con.
was awesome. It was awesome. So the first night, and I'm going to tell you, I almost had to give up my Texas driver's license because the barbecue was just freaking phenomenal. It
Wow.
was it was better than most barbecue I have had in South Texas in the past year and a half, 2 years. And that's saying a lot because I like Black's barbecue,
Yeah.
and we stopped there all the time. And, man, just phenomenal. But
Hmm.
anyways, so we get there um, Thursday night. I got there Thursday night and hung out with Most Worshipful, and then the next day, Park got there along with Most Illustrious Cole, and and then we sat and visited with him and uh, Brother Wes from the SGIG from New Mexico, or from Albuquerque, and or not Albuquerque, but from Santa Fe. That's where that his or he's actually over all about New Mexico, but he stays up at the Santa Fe area.
Hmm.
And then there's one down in Las Cruces. So we talked for quite a while, and that was a great discussion, and talked about all the positive things going on, and then they're really rebuilding in New Mexico. Now, granted, you got to remember these guys have 0.5 percent of our membership in New Mexico.
You said 0.5?
0.5, yes.
Wow.
So they have like 3,000 members in the whole state,
Mm.
and they said it's still been slow, picking up since COVID, trying to get people back into the Scottish Rite and doing the degrees and all that. But they did about the same amount that we did this last reunion, so they're picking up pretty nicely as well. And so, and really, just the whole weekend was just a bunch of great fellowship with some genuine brothers that that care about all the things that they're involved in. They're very strong in DeMolay and Rainbow Girls, and in fact they had both of them helping with all the clean up and stuff like that, serving and things like that. And they had a car wash that they were going to do, but it rained, so we just donated money to them. But they had probably 10, 15 girls and 10, 15 boys there at the event, taking care of this stuff. I mean, those are pretty good numbers for a little bitty place like that,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. And I say little bitty. I mean, Albuquerque has a population of 500,000, but that's probably the biggest population in New Mexico. That's probably 50% of the population, if not more. And then the talks were awesome. The ones that I really remember the best, was one that was given by a lady named Linda. I can't remember her last name, but she is kind of like she does like marketing and surveys for the northern jurisdiction of the Scottish Rite, NMJ. So she gave all these different and the stuff that we did. 70.
You're getting choppy there. You froze on us.
that is millennial.
You have to repeat those stats.
Do what?
You have to repeat those stats. We lost you. I think we totally lost him this time. He's gone. He gone. Are you there?
77%. Am I back yet?
Say something else.
Yeah, I'm here. Hold on.
Yeah, you're here now.
I'm here now.
You went to
Here,
a
let me
dead
turn
zone, I
off
guess.
let me turn off my video so that it helps with that.
Yeah.
Shit, if I remember how on this phone. Oh, excuse my French.
Somebody actually commented on the last live stream. They're like, "This is great info. Just way too much profanity." I was like, I wonder who that came from.
Oh my goodness. So, anyways, 77% of all the contacts to the Northern Masonic jurisdiction are millennials, and I would say that as dense of a population that they have, I think that's a good demographic for all of Masonry in general. I would say, because you're talking about the New England area and many of the states surrounding it, and I think that as concentrated as that population is, it's a good demographic.
Mm-hmm.
But they said that that 89. Let's see. She said that 89% of the emails that were sent in asking about membership did not get answered. 89% in today's day and age.
Wow.
And what's even more crazy is after 6 months or however long that they waited, and it was a while, they recontacted those people and they asked them, are you still interested in Freemasonry, or did you just give up? And 98% of them would still be interested in joining Freemasonry.
Yeah.
So if we aren't getting the petitions, and granted, we should be vetting them very well and all that. We had long discussions about that during some of the Scotch moments. But if we're not increasing in membership, it's our own fault, because we've got enough people that are reaching out to us that once we weed out the riffraff and the ones that we don't really want, surely there's brothers left, or there's people left that are worth investing in. And not only that, but another part of the surveys was talking about what these people are like, and these people are interested in education. They're interested in the secrets. They're interested in the wisdom that comes from Freemasonry. That's the majority. I can't remember the percentage. That one I can't remember, but that was pretty interesting. That was kind of a growing theme of the whole weekend, and it didn't really. It wasn't intended that it would end up being that way, but it was. The growing theme was educating ourselves so that we can be better prepared to be the mentors that we need to be, and having the character to be that mentor. Those were, in fact, it was crazy. Parks discussion. My gosh, he's just a powerhouse when it comes to talks. I love listening to him talk, and I was so concerned and worried because we ended up flipping him to where he spoke before I did, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, how am I gonna follow this? I just had one of those moments where my knuckles dragged on the ground and I'm looking at the sky just thinking, oh my gosh, this is the worst scenario ever. But they both ended up knocking it out of the park, and everybody was real excited with the outcome. So that was pretty cool. Parks was more geared towards being the well, you know, Park. We all have a place in Masonry, and oh shoot, I need to not try to quote this stuff. I just need to wait a minute. I'll think about it while y'all are talking. But my presentation was called Upon this book, The Oath I Took. And in essence, mine was a trip down some instances that have been happening in Texas that that some people have done, letting people through the door that should not be let through the door. And it's going to be up to people like me to show up and make sure that they don't move forward, because they're not coming into my house with my wife and my kids. And that's in essence what you're saying when you let somebody through the door. You're saying that that's okay, because my daughter has grown up with all you guys, and my daughter knows all you guys personally, and my daughter trusts all you guys extensively. If any of y'all said, you know, come with me, we've got an issue, we got a problem, she would go immediately. She would trust you because she loves you, and she knows that you love her and her daddy. So when we let somebody through the door that we would not let walk through our yard, yeah, I'm that old guy, you know, get off the lawn. I am. But if we let somebody through the door that we wouldn't want walking up in front of our house without being concerned, then that's a problem. And then not only is that a problem, but the 20-year Masons that let that person through the door because they're trying to save a starving lodge that's fixing to die, that's a problem. I no longer trust those people as Masons. And that's a problem that we need to fix within our fraternity.
Yeah.
So that was part of my talk, and then I went in to say, you know, and of course I challenged people's faith in the middle of this. I love doing that. Now, of course, I didn't, you know, tell them, you know, they were bad or anything for what they believe, but I challenged them to be open to other beliefs. And so I challenged them in that way. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you believe, and it doesn't matter what you think about that book that's on that's there that you're taking your oath upon. If you don't have the character, if you don't have the integrity, what does it matter? Because you're not going to uphold any of those things that we promised that we would uphold.
Interesting. So you traveled to New Mexico, and I assume you're going home now?
Yeah, I'm on my way back now.
And then you're going to San Antonio?
So here's the...
And then Fort Worth?
No, you're really... Oh, by the way, I want to see you up in Dallas on Tuesday. So...
Is it? That was Wednesday.
No, it's going to be Tuesday and Wednesday. So I told my wife I was going to come down and kiss her because I miss her. And then Tuesday, so I'm going to be home tomorrow. Tuesday, I'm driving up to Dallas to Hillcrest Lodge. They're having a degree Tuesday night. And then Wednesday, we have the 14th District MWSA meeting, and Park is going to be speaking there. He's got the floor for an hour. And then Wednesday is the installation of Hillcrest. I wish I could stay for that. Not Wednesday, Thursday is the installation for Hillcrest. I wish I could stay for that, but I can't. I've got to jet down. I'm going straight from Dallas to Corpus because we have a 50-year Scottish Rite Mason getting his blue cap in Corpus when as soon as I get there. So Tuesday and Wednesday is Dallas. Thursday I go back down to the furthest part of South Texas to Corpus, or almost, and we do the blue cap ceremony. Friday I get to stay home and mow the yard and do all the husband stuff I have to do. And then Saturday, I'm going to Gray Lodge in the morning at 10 o'clock. I'll be at Gray Lodge for their installation, and I'm doing a talk on what is Mason. And then and Park's going to be there as well. And then we're going to run back up to San Antonio Saturday night for our centennial celebration. I donated my ticket for the Saul Ross festive board because I bought it and then realized I wasn't going to be able to make it. So I donated it so another brother could go. And I think Park needs to do the same thing. I don't think he has yet, but I know he bought the ticket before I bought mine. So I'll tell him to reach out so that y'all can find somebody for that one.
So to clarify, the MWSA is going to be the 26th, which is Wednesday, right?
Wednesday.
Where's it going to be at?
It is going to be at blah, blah, blah Sunset Lodge. I can't remember the beginning.
Sunset.
And I feel bad for saying it like that. It's something Sunset. Cody, if you're still on here, will you let him know which one that is? It ends with Sunset. I can't remember. It's kind of in East Dallas.
He's not there.
And maybe
Brummett,
Brad knows.
It's Brummett Daylight Lodge, isn't it? Brummett.
Maybe. I could have sworn that he said Sunset.
Sunrise Daylight Lodge.
Sunrise Daylight Lodge. Is that it?
I
believe
it's
the same lodge building as Sam P. Cochran over there in Ferguson.
Well, that sounds right. That sounds about like what he was describing.
Yeah, I need to know for sure
where Ferguson is. I will. Here, while we're on the line, I'll let y'all start talking because I've just been.
I just need to be sure. I went.
I'll text Dave Bindle right now.
I don't remember what day I went. Oh, Friday. I'm on the investment committee for the Grand Chapter and Council, and we had our meeting, and it's usually at the Texas Masonic Retirement Center, and so I just assumed that's where it was going to be, and I get up there and I'm like, hey, I'm here for the investment meeting, and they're like, what are you talking about? And so I had my wife. I called home and it's like, hey, we look at that letter on the fridge. You tell me where we're meeting at. I thought maybe it was the wrong day. They met at Waco. And it's like, man, I need to learn how to read. So that's why I'm like, I want to be. And I really I would have spent the same amount of gas, right? Because it's about the same distance to Waco from my house as it is to MRC. But I was just really annoyed that I just wasted a trip. So I want to be sure that I have the right location this time. My wife started giving me crap for it. It's like, dude, I travel all over the state and I'm usually at the right place. This is the first time I'm wrong about it. Come on, give me some slack. So yeah,
I would be in deep trouble if I was at the wrong place.
Yeah. Sunrise Daylight Lodge.
5-hour trip.
That's in Fort Worth though.
No, that's the wrong one. Here, let me look real quick.
Yeah.
I know he told me.
What's that?
Shoot. Dinner's at 6:30. The meeting is at 7:30. Where is it? Yeah, it's 9225. It's James F. Brummett, Sunshine Lodge, number 341, at 9225 Ferguson Road, Dallas, Texas.
James F. Brummett.
Yeah, BRUMIT. Sunshine Lodge. It says it has a dash and then says Sunshine Lodge. So I guess they're sharing the building, like Brad was talking about.
James F. Brummett. Okay, there we are. All right, I found it. Cool.
Okay. So now and that's Wednesday, June 26th. And now our listeners know, and all of our Inner Circle members know as well.
I'm just looking here.
Yeah, Scott, I was I was looking at trying to get over there. I would have to show up at Scottish Rite, drink one little bit of scotch during the social hour, and then leave if I was going to get there by midnight to finish it out with you guys. Because it's a 4-hour trip from our Scottish Rite to Sul Ross. I didn't realize it was that far. I was thinking it's a couple of hours. And I just jet over, go over there and wait until about 8 o'clock and then shoot over and have drinks with y'all. But
Yeah,
that's going to be a little
There's
far
always
for me to
another
run.
time, dude.
I think this is the same
Absolutely.
lodge as Cochrane. It looks like I think I've been there before. So okay, that's not so bad.
And to be clear, you will not be at Victory Lodge's installation of officers Saturday morning.
Oh, shit. No, I will not. And I apologize.
No, he already talked to me about it. It's fine.
He's just giving me crap.
We've
But you
moved
know-
on. Fine.
Yes. I've out of guilt. Well, I've not only agreed to speak once, but twice for you next year, or this year and next year.
I can't imagine.
I'm actually pushed
Yeah.
into April now.
Yeah, and that's something we're announcing. We're going to be announcing that tomorrow. After
Nice.
after everything's official. So
I'm glad I just blew it for everybody. Just kidding.
no, it's fine.
They don't know where we're talking about.
No, I it's not a big deal. It's just we're doing
I'm
the
excited.
same thing. Yeah, we're doing the same thing that Victory Lodge is doing for the chapter and council in Seguin. Is we've lined up an entire year of guest speakers to talk about the symbolism and rituals in the chapter and council degrees. And
That is
our
awesome.
installation of officers is tomorrow night. And so after that, I'm going to put out an actual official list and stuff like that. So, but
Oh my
But-
gosh. Speaking of installation of officers, you just gave me anxiety. I have now entered into the Secretaries Guild.
God help you.
I know. Fortunately, I know a couple of guys that might be able to help me through this because I never had expected it, but I'm very happy to. Very happy to serve.
Yeah, I'm entering the Treasure Guild, so I'll be kind of in the same boat. Not as bad as Secretary, but close.
Well,
pretty close.
and that's what I had always, that's what I had always wanted to do if I was going to jump into that, mode of assisting the lodge, because that one you can be disassociated with the lodge a little bit and still send in the reports and get everything done. But as a secretary, man, you really can't stray away too far from the lodge. You really need to make sure you're there to get things done for the lodge if you're really going to give it the support it deserves.
It's true. Very true.
You hold everything together behind the scenes and no one realizes it. That's one thing I can.
Oh,
Until you're not there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we had
And
in
then
chapter
it
and
just goes
council.
to hell.
We had
oh my God! You just gave me cold sweats.
you
and
might as well
Get ready, dude.
and the secretary actually runs the lodge. Don't let the
Oh
worshipful
my
master.
God.
Just kidding.
Oh,
Just kidding.
man.
Dennis, you might as well turn off your camera. We can't even see you anymore.
Yeah, if you have a weak master, you're going to be running the lodge, dude. You and the treasurer. That's for damn sure.
Well, if you have
Well,
a weak
yeah,
master,
I mean-
someone has to run the lodge.
Yeah, and I actually have talked to a couple of people, and to include Dennis, about it. But I mean, yes, it's very, very easy, because rightly or wrongly, yeah, the secretary is kind of the focal point to even include questions about the law book and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, you're supposed to go to the junior warden, he's the lawyer, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, if you had a secretary that's been around 3, 4, 5, 10 years, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
as long as they're keeping up with stuff. And so, yeah, you have a lot of influence in it, and it's very easy to fall into the trap of, using that influence and then to get that influence to go to your head to think that, oh, well, I am really the focal point, and you're not. You can't deny that the secretary does not have a lot of influence, but he does not and should not run that lodge. It is the Worshipful Master's year, and it is the will and consent of the lodge on all decisions and stuff like that. So,
Well, the Worshipful Master is elected to lead. He needs to lead.
right, that is absolutely correct.
And I will tell you, that will lead.
I will tell you, your year as secretary is much better and much easier when you do have a Worshipful Master that does lead the lodge.
Yeah.
It is very, very frustrating to be a secretary for a weaker Worshipful Master who does not seem to want to lead that lodge, and you've got to kind of constantly say, hey, you need to do this, hey, this needs to get done, and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I would much prefer to serve under a Worshipful Master that really takes it serious and wants to lead that lodge, as opposed to just being a figurehead and, oh, okay, well, and shows up to meetings and hasn't prepared anything, and they're like, oh, well, what are we supposed to do tonight? And you're like, here you go.
Fortunately, we've got a very good team assembled this year, and I'm really excited. I think I told y'all last week or the week before that the last degree that we did over at OSO, man, it was next gen. It was next gen. I was probably the oldest person. No, I wasn't the oldest person, but there was only one person older than me, and he wasn't much older. He was the district instructor. Otherwise, the degree team was all next gen. So it's a younger group of guys that are serious about masonry, that are stepping up to the plate and showing that we're ready to take us into the next generation, into the next era, where we're going. And with that being said, that's part of why I was voted in as secretary, was to do the same thing, kind of complete the officer lineup to where we are all next gen. If we screw this up, it is totally our fault. It's not anybody else's fault but our own, because we have the perfect storm for the perfect year if we do it right.
Well, let me tell you a couple advantages that you have already for this Dennis. Number one, you're a past master already. Number two,
Right.
you're a past DDGM recently as well. So that helps. That helps a lot.
Yes.
That really helps a lot. And another thing I'm going to say too is the longer you do it, the easier it gets, because you get into your routine, you get into your groove, and you know what to do, and you'll learn how to efficiently do minutes. Very good. Fortunately, now we don't have to read them anymore, thank God. But I had to,
So the last
but I
secretary's
gave an
doing that.
abbreviated version. Just
Well,
one.
I've already. Go ahead.
No, one last thing I'm going to end on is, and this is important. Before the meeting, and like maybe 30 minutes before the meeting, and immediately after the meeting, you've got to be able to tell the guys, hey, I need this time to myself right now. I have to get stuff ready so we can have an efficient meeting. I need to get this stuff together. Can you please just, send me a note or text later, and I'll call you, and this is if they have something like, hey, I need this or this or this. Do not hesitate to do that, man. You want to help as much as you can, but you have to have that you time, man. Yeah. That's the best thing I can tell you.
You can't help with it if you don't have time to prepare. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's something. In fact, we're going to have a Zoom meeting on Tuesday, right before that degree at Hillcrest. We're going to have a Zoom meeting of the officers to prepare just for even, our the installation. And then I was talking to the Worshipful Master. Yeah, exactly. Especially with the way I travel, it's good that we're doing it via Zoom.
Yeah.
But I was talking to the Worshipful Master, and I told him, I said, look, the best way to do this is I have this pre-done agenda that notes what we have to cover, and then I'll give it to you. You fill it out, and then I will make sure that it's, everything that supports that is there, and then that way we'll have and that'll pretty much be the guideline for the minutes right there, to where and then there's going to be a definite cutoff to where people aren't allowed to add anything before the meeting. There's going to be a definite, 3-day prior cutoff that if you haven't put it in there, then it's not going in the agenda, and you'll have to take it to the next. And it's easier for us because we have 2 meetings a month, right? But at the same time, we're going to try to get the lodge trained to where that's not an issue. And if all else fails, I have my own office with a door, so I can just shut it and lock it.
That's the way to do it.
Good.
Yeah, they took away my office. It's a library now.
Oh man, I might turn mine into one. But that's another thing, and he's absolutely right. At first, it's going to be so hard for me because this secretary has been secretary now for umpteen years. He's a 50-year Mason, and he's been a secretary for 30% of the time at this lodge. So trying to get everything figured out and put into something usable for me, going from analog to digital, is going to be a big undertaking.
Do you suspect that that secretary you're talking about will remain active at your lodge?
No, he's already made that very clear.
Okie dokie.
He's not exactly excited about what's going on with us, and that's okay. But it's the will of the lodge. It's not the will of any one of us. So we've got to keep that in mind, and that's something I speak on regularly. We just had that great talk.
You just got choppy again.
We just had that great talk on peace and harmony that you just posted. And that's something that we talk about regularly. I truly believe it, that it's the will of the lodge. It's not the will of any one member, and nobody should wield their power to the detriment of the lodge.
If it becomes like a personal thing for you, you gotta step back from it.
I think that everyone understands that I'm that guy that's going to make sure that it's the will of the lodge, because I have seen democracy in its most beautiful form, especially in this last and I've seen it work perfectly in the.
Got you.
So,
wherever you're traveling through, you are in a really spotty area right now. Like you're picking up for like 5 seconds and you're going quiet for 10.
Yeah, I really liked whenever y'all were talking about the democracy piece. That reminded me of the stuff Francis Bacon was talking about when you're searching for a crown or a tiara or something, some kind of notoriety of being a leader, instead of doing it for the lodge specifically, and having that democracy piece.
Mm-hmm.
That's vitally important.
Oh, absolutely.
He was talking about that in that Secret Teachings of All Ages book
Mm-hmm.
on the hierarchic alleging, and we kind of were talking about that.
Did y'all talk about that on your show yet?
Mm-hmm.
You did?
Yeah, we did.
That's
yeah,
good.
on Friday. It was pretty cool.
Cool, man. That's really
We
cool.
we got about halfway through that chapter. We talked for an hour and we only got about halfway through the chapter. So.
You could spend a couple years just on that book, just going through it. It's so deep.
Absolutely.
So deep. Scott, I apologize because I remember that you messaged me while I was camping, and I had like no signal. I got enough signal every once in a while where I get something, and then I saw you send me something, and I didn't have a chance to respond, and I forgot about it until we were talking. What were we talking about in the last live stream that you said that you was one of your favorite topics? Or maybe it wasn't the live stream. Maybe it was that Wednesday where we did the members only. You sent me.
Oh, the one I wasn't here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I messaged Dennis and I listened to it, and I was like, man, y'all hit on a lot of good topics, especially Tool.
Oh.
I know the funny thing is, I still got a ticket stub from when I saw him in 2001.
Wow.
I sent a picture of it to Dennis. Yeah, y'all had a lot of good subjects last week.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I wish I didn't miss out on it, but yeah, it happened.
It's all good, man.
Yeah.
It's all good. Just glad to have you here today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, the whole when you start talking about like fractals and the perfect triangle or perfect rectangle, golden ratio, whatever you'll call it, Fibonacci sequence, that's all really interesting to me. And so I know Tool is like one of the most predominant bands that employs that in their music, but you see that in architecture and stuff too, so it's really interesting to me. I think there's something about that in Secret Teachings, like the golden ratio or something. It's been a while since I read it.
yeah, it's one of those books that I dive into it every now and then. It's more or less one that's like an encyclopedia to me that is on the shelf, and occasionally pull it out and look at it
Yeah.
every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure it's in there.
Probably. It covers so much, I'd be surprised if it wasn't in there.
Yeah.
I got to review the Kabbalistic chapters. Also got a book on Kabbalah. I'm going to be giving a presentation next month, and so they asked me to come talk about Kabbalah. I was like, well, I guess I better brush up better than I am, so I can come actually give a better presentation. But yeah, so it's going to be fun. Hello, Dennis.
I've tried getting into it myself, reading on it. It's something that you gotta, I don't know, for me at least, I gotta take it in stride. I can't do too much with it.
Yeah.
It's too deep and too much to think about to just take it all in at once.
There are some esoteric concepts, and I think Kabbalah is one of them, where if you really want to appreciate it, you have to. You can't eat it, right? You can't take big bites. You have to take a little nibble and let it digest. Take another little nibble, let it digest, and
like Morals and Dogma.
Like Morals and Dogma, yeah. You have to take a little bit, reflect on what you actually read, kind of experience the mindset it offers a little bit, and then you're ready to move on. Yeah, Morals and Dogma is another great example. I think if anyone sat down and just read the entire book cover to cover, they'd probably either, if they weren't insane for trying it, they would be insane from the effort after they were done.
I know a brother that did, read it cover to cover.
Oh, really?
Pete Norman's son, Travis, he did. He read it cover to cover.
I was actually going to say was it Pete, but Travis, I could see that. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
cover to cover. He sat down and read the whole thing cover to cover.
Well, I don't know if he did all at once, but well, yeah, you get the idea. He went through the entire thing.
Gosh, I really
I forgot how long he said it took him.
I really
I can't
wonder
remember.
if somebody did that, and I don't mean like a disrespectful way. If someone actually did that, how much of it did it really? It's kind of like if you do all 3 degrees
Yeah.
in one day, like the Mister the Master. Like how much of that really stuck if you just did it all in one day? Same thing, like if you just sat and read Morals and Dogma, not necessarily cover to cover in one day, but you just kind of plowed through it, however long that took. Did you really process and understand everything it had to offer? Right? I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying there's probably people that aren't smart enough that they could, but 99.99999% of people, I don't know.
That's why it's
The
good
audiobook
to talk
version.
about our degrees.
Yeah, I was gonna say the audiobook version's like almost it's like 60 hours of listening. And the problem is, like, I'll hear something in the audiobook, and then my mind goes down a rabbit trail thinking about what I just heard, and then I miss like 5-10 minutes of what he's reading. So
Yeah.
You ain't the only one, dude.
That's my issues with podcasts. I'll play podcasts when I'm driving, and if I get like in Dallas and Fort Worth and just traffic in general, or even if I'm in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing to distract me, I just zone out. I'll like, oh crap, I was listening to something, and they're still talking in the background. I have to go back and move it back like 10-15 minutes and actually try to focus and listen to it. Just depends on what it is. Some of the stuff that I think's interesting, it may be interesting, but I lose focus faster. If it's just dumb and
Yeah.
entertaining, I don't have a problem. But like the actual like conversations of people actually talking and discussing like esoteric concepts or things like that, it's hard. Is Dennis with us, or are you here, Dennis?
I hear him kind of
You hear something?
in a little bit.
I don't hear anything at all. He's probably out in West Texas if he's driving back from New Mexico. Out in the boondocks. I don't know. But yeah, I'll be at the MWSA meeting on Wednesday. Going to that, and then Saturday I will be in College Station and I'm bringing a +1. I'm bringing a friend of mine. Yeah, he was. Scott, were any of y'all at the Inner Circle dinner in January?
I wasn't, and
Jason?
I don't know if Brother Olivier was.
Okay.
I don't think he was because I think that night St. Albans was having their dinner.
I was
And
going
I
to say,
was-
I think,
Well,
yeah, I
Yeah.
think y'all were.
the reason I ask is because the guy I'm bringing to y'all's festive board came in January, and he was in like a Masonic slump. He's like, that was exactly what I always wanted out of Freemasonry. That was like the highlight of my Masonic career, was just that night. And so I know, right? And so I'm trying to get him to come to other things. Like, if you really enjoyed that, let's see. It's not just this. There's other things like that. So I'm bringing him with me, and let him experience like a real festival.
Come up on Tuesday too.
I don't know if I can get away with Tuesday also, but I'll try. Because I got... Do what?
Oh, go ahead.
No, was it you that was about to say something, Scott?
Yes,
Oh.
You were in the middle of something. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's fine. I was just going to say I get so many kitchen passes a week before I start getting in trouble. So, that's all. But
You're weak.
Peace
we're trying to-
peace and harmony, Dennis. Peace and harmony.
Yeah, really. Now we're trying to find somewhere to go after the festival. I don't know if we're gonna go like find somewhere nearby or hightail it to downtown Bryan or something. I don't know. The only thing is, it's gonna be 100 degrees, so patio sitting is probably not too ideal.
Where is it even going to be? I haven't looked at it. Like, where is it going to College Station or in Bryan?
Yeah, it's College Station,
Well,
South Town.
There's lots of stuff to do in College Station. You don't think so? Well, compared to what I'm used to.
We'll have to go somewhere because that area usually they're going to be whenever we're finishing up, they're going to be shutting down, so we're going to have to go somewhere. So we'll probably, I don't know. I'm going to have to. Adam and I have talked about a couple of places so far, and we're just kind of like, okay, which one? We're just going to probably decide this week. Okay, which one are we going to go to?
Gotcha.
Kind of thing. Because some of the guys are going to want cigars and everything, and I'm going to want air conditioning.
Well, depending on how late it is, I may or may not do anything afterwards anyway. But we'll see.
Yeah. You got to go back home afterward?
It's only a 2-hour drive. It's like, I'm not going to get a hotel for 2-hour distance. So,
Yeah, there's nothing to do in College Station except go to class. That's it.
okay.
There's
Like our,
What bar is the class going to be in? Because there's a lot of those.
Exactly.
plenty to choose from, dude.
okay, you're not helping.
I usually don't.
Don't worry, Jason. We'll show Junior where all the good spots are.
And give him a couple of cards so he can call when he gets in trouble.
Nice. Where are you at right now, Dennis?
I am out in the middle of West Texas.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, I won't get home until 2:30 a.m.
Is it just you?
Yes.
Bro, you're driving
Yes,
all by yourself.
Yeah, the girls stayed home. They had stuff that they had to do getting ready for Vacation Bible School and stuff, and that's the same thing next week. They're going to be doing Vacation Bible School all week while I'm doing Freemasonry, so kind of works out.
Well, you drive careful because that'll get rough.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as it gets late. I want to point out, like, if anyone's ever wonders like why Dennis is why I brought him on as a co-host, it's because he practices what he preaches, right? He doesn't say one thing and do another. And so, like a few weeks ago, we kind of introduced this concept of road time or read time, right? That's really what separates you. He is the
Road
living embodiment of road time. And sometimes, if he has a really good book, he combines them. And I don't suggest anybody do that. But
I know I brought Mystical Kabbalah with me, and I was on my way up. I'm sitting here reading while I'm driving, and you always see those kids nowadays with their phone right in front of them on their windshield while they're driving, and you're thinking, how in the hell are they driving?
Yeah.
And then here I am with a book opened, driving down the road reading Mystical Kabbalah.
I took your advice, and I got a copy of it.
Oh, nice, very nice. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. So I didn't realize
Now,
it was a used book. Unfortunately, I like new things, but I'm still happy.
right,
Yeah.
the next book I think I'm gonna get is gonna be Ceremonial Magic. It's about the Hermetic tarot cards, and it's Ceremonial Magic by Duquette.
Doesn't that come with a deck? It comes with a deck of Hermetic cards.
No, that if you get that one, if you can find that one with one that you can afford, then I say get it, because most of them right now are $200+ used.
Wow.
Because they aren't that deal isn't in publication anymore. Right now you can get the book from Amazon, but you can't even find the deck.
Well, okay, all right. I had heard there was one that came with a deck, so I guess that was the old.
Yes.
The old one you're talking about.
Yes, and that's really what you want. That's what you want, is that set together so that you can really study it, because it's really got some good stuff in there.
Interesting.
It's but anyways, that's the one. In fact, I'm probably going to go ahead and break down and get one of those used sets so that I'll have it.
Man, I didn't realize it was that much. I had looked at it. I guess maybe I did see it was expensive, and that's why I didn't get it at the time. But yeah.
Right. Well, there's another book. I can't remember. I've got it written down in my notes, but the brother was giving a talk about the Fellowcraft degree and going into a few different rabbit holes, and he mentioned this book, and he said, "Yeah, you can get it online, the digital copy, for free." And he sent me the link, and he said, "Yeah, the book is like $500, $700, something like that." And it's like, well, that's what I want. I don't want a link.
Yeah.
I want the book, and I hope it's about 14 to 15 inches tall and about 6 inches, 8 inches wide. I hope it's a book of all books.
It needs to be a tomb.
Like some of those. Yeah, some of those old books from back then, they're pretty awesome. They're too big to put on a bookshelf. Really, you need to have its own case.
If I spend $500 on a book, it needs to have like a little ghost come out when you open it up, like ooh.
Yes.
Leather bound.
Yes. If it's not coming out of there, I'm going to start, trying to make it happen. Figure out how to conjure up that ghost.
Okay.
No, I'm not that hocus pocus, guys. Don't get panicked and leave the show. But I am interested in this this ceremonial magic because it is the Hermetic tarot cards. The Rider-Waite, you can get a lot of Hermeticism out of it. It's really easy to understand a lot of Kabbalah and all that kind of stuff. But these other ones, they're really detailed into the Hermetic side of it and the alchemical side of it.
Is that author Edward Waite?
The writer would almost have to have a book. Well, that's one.
You got choppy. Sorry, I didn't hear you, man.
The A.E. Waite is the deck that we have.
Yeah.
You still don't hear me?
Well, I could barely. It says The Book of Ceremonial Magic by author Edward Waite. It's not the one you're talking about, though?
But you may want to get that one. I'll get that one. Is that on Amazon?
Yeah. It's like $18 bucks.
I'll get that one and check it out. Maybe it'll help with the A.E. Waite cards.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying.
From 1989.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's what I was saying is that the A.E. Waite cards, you really need a book to understand all the symbolism in them because it's just not right there in your face. But these Hermetic cards, they show you the alchemical signs. They have you really get a good sense of the air, fire, water, and earth in the cards, but not like the wand, sword, chalice, and pentagram.
Yeah.
That's your alchemical symbolism in those symbols. That's your alchemy in each one of those cards, just so that you know.
Well, every review is like 5 stars. So it's apparently a good book.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, share that with me. I'll get that one too.
Okay, I'll send it to you through Facebook. Yeah, it's only like $8. But there's only one left, so if you really want, I'll let you get
it. No, that's okay. I'm sure I can find it. All you got to do is show me the title. Now I know what it says. But,
yeah, and I'll send it to you through Facebook.
But the one the ceremonial magic by Duquette, that's the one. It's DUQUETTE.
Hold on, let me send this to you. Then okay, how do you say you spell it?
D as in dog, UQ. ETTE. Duquette. Duquette. And usually it says Lon, Lon, Duquette.
Lon Milo Duquette?
Yeah, and then the actual cards are by a different Duquette.
So Tarot of Ceremonial Magic?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. There's one. Yeah, there's one. Tarot Ceremony Magic: A Pictorial Synthesis of Three Great Pillars of Magic, by Lon Malo Duquette from 1995.
Yes. Yes. And he's actually a musician or whatever. He's an artsy guy. And that's what he really gets into it. Plus, the tech from
Lost you again.
originally. So you folks, dang it.
Well, now I can hear you.
Okay, I'm up on the hill now. So, what a lot of folks don't realize is that the Hermetic tarot decks that came about. That's from back in the Golden Dawn, when it was first formed. The members of the Golden Dawn created these decks for themselves. These are personal decks that they created for themselves to help them with the ritual and the understanding of the principles of the Golden Dawn. So that's why you have these different flavors of decks, and you'll see them in different ways. Like the Duquette, it's pretty awesome. It's got a lot of just in your face, this is what it is and this is what it means. And then you've got this other Hermetic deck that I can't remember who it's by, but it's black and white. And it has some really intricate artwork on how it's set up. So it kind of talks to who the person is also, if you think about it, on how the symbolism is relayed and how it teaches you the Hermetic principles based on the Golden Dawn ritual. It kind of, each one of those decks kind of speaks to you as to who the author was and what kind of person they were, as to how the decks look.
By the way, not related to what we're talking about right now, but I want to be sure that I point this out before I forget again. It is somebody's 13th Masonic birthday today. Do you know who, Dennis?
Is it me?
It is you. Happy birthday.
Yeah, I've been a master mason for 13 years. I've been a mason for 15.
Yeah. No, Cody sent me a message last week. He's like, "Hey, don't forget next Sunday is Dennis's Masonic birthday."
Oh,
So.
nice. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't have access to that, but he does.
Oh man. Thank you.
So happy birthday.
Yeah, and just so that you guys know, I've always told you that, I was one of those guys that I went over on my time, and I had to request that I get to go forward. I was made a Mason in 2009, and I didn't finish until 2011.
Oh wow.
Because it went its year. It was September 2009. So it went its year, and so that took me into 2010. And then I had my neck surgery, and that took me into the beginning of 2011 before I started working on it again.
Got you. Okay. Man, I just assumed you did it all in 2009ish or so, but that makes sense.
Oh no. But
I didn't
when
bother.
I did get back,
Go ahead.
but when I did get back started, it didn't take long at all. It really didn't.
Yeah.
It only took a couple of months, because when I realized that I was behind, that was right when I had my neck surgery, and it's like, oh crap. And then I had my neck surgery, and I was kind of out of it for 6 months. But as soon as I came back to life, then I just boom and got it done.
I wish you had an
an
actual reason instead of just some crap people make up.
What?
So at least you had an actual reason instead of some of the crap people make up. Like you're
Well,
legitimately had a surgery and we're out of it.
Right.
Like a neck surgery, it's not a small thing, so it's understandable you'd be out for quite a while.
Right. Yeah, I had 2 fusions and an artificial disc put in my neck at that time.
Man. The
That
bionic
was
man.
cutting edge stuff. Yeah, that's when they first started doing the artificial discs.
Wow.
The doctor who actually invented the one that's in my neck was the one who did my surgery up at Texas Back Institute in Plano.
At least
Dr.
you should know about it.
If you guys ever have any issues, Dr. Ziegler, he really is a badass doctor. You need to go to him.
Now, I was reading about a new thing they're experimenting with. It's no time soon, but they can't remove your brain and put it in another skull or something like that. So they're actually experimenting with just removing the head entirely and putting it on another body. And so
Oh shit!
I'm holding out for that, so I don't have to have any bionics or anything. I'll just give me another 20-year-old body and just let me just start over.
Yeah. Tell me.
Wear that one out
Man.
for 50 years or something.
Exactly. Man, that's exactly what it would do. I wonder if your brain and other faculties would just kind of decay super quick like it normally would if it would follow the regular, season of life
Yeah, I don't
while
know.
you'd be all shriveled up, a shriveled up face in a Benjamin Button body.
Well, they said your mind can survive theoretically for a long time. It's just everything else kind of wears down over time. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but where are you getting the bodies from?
Where do you ever get bodies when you need bodies? I mean, come on, get a shovel, man.
From the homeless. Come on.
Oh my
From the homeless.
god! Wow. Not where I was going with that. Wow. Wow.
All you got to do is entice them to feed them.
We're live,
they
Dennis.
come Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Wow.
That's my dark sense of humor, guys.
Wow. I was just gonna
Oh,
say, just grow one, get some DNA and grow one. That way you have your
Oh my gosh.
something compatible. No, you don't
That's
go to
just-
downtown
that's
Austin.
Just too, that's just too millennial.
Time for a harvest, guys. No.
That's exactly right.
That's awful.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. We probably lost half of our viewers right then, and then the other half are rolling in their chairs laughing.
Yeah. Wow.
We'll see when we see who all's still on the show. Look and see who all's still watching, and
I'm
then you'll
scared
know.
to.
I know, right?
Wow. No one's really saying anything about it, so I guess we're safe. They're too busy either
Right.
or typing an angry response or laughing.
Yeah.
So, speaking on that, Dennis, do you have any good brands of shovels you recommend?
Yes.
Okay.
Craftsman just won't do it anymore, guys.
Bob Naylor says, "Was this a bad time to join in?" Chicken Kabbalah. I've heard good things about that.
Freemasons and shovel.
Yeah,
Do what?
I've heard good things about Chicken Kabbalah. Someone mentioned that in chat too. I think you mentioned it one
Chicken
time.
Kabbalah.
Yeah, a book for people who want to learn about Kabbalah.
I think
Oh,
148 might have interviewed that guy years ago.
But
Yes, I think they
I
did.
think.
Yes. Somebody did. I remember somebody.
I'm looking here. Chicken Kabbalah. The Chicken Kabbalah of Rabbi Lamed Ben Clifford. What you
Yes.
do and do not
Yep.
need to know to become a Kabbalist.
Yeah, that's where you're going to get your real information on that particular flavor of Kabbalah, as far as what they believe, what the Jewish faith believes,
Mm-hmm. Got you.
and that's very valuable to really wrap your head around Kabbalah. You really need to kind of have that understanding. We went through it in our show. I mean, it can be broken down into some basic terms, but to understand the rest of it, it kind of helps to be able to wrap your head around the concept of what it is to begin with.
Agreed. Very cool. Well, does anyone have anything else they want to share today?
Yeah, now that I've taken up all the time, as usual.
Well, you got a long drive, so I want you to get all focused so you don't
Yes.
drift off on us.
Yes. Get hyped up
Hyped up.
on my Perrier water. That's what I need to do is turn my camera back on now that I have some bars and do some advertising.
Man, when we were in
With
Mineral
my-
Wells, we went to the Crazy Water place.
Uh-huh.
And I've had it before, but they had I've never had. They have it numbered 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd never had their number 4. I never found it anywhere. That stuff's potent, man. I'm just telling you, there's something different about that water. There's something different.
Oh, potent. Man, there
know
are
what it is?
several. Go ahead. Sorry.
You know what it is? It's lithium.
Good old fashioned lithium, man.
That's what it is. It's lithium. High deposits of lithium in it.
Interesting.
Wow.
Natives believed that it could actually heal, and they used to drink from it so it would make them happier. So that's what it is. It's lithium deposits in it.
Interesting. Did not
Yep.
know that.
Man,
I just know
nice.
if I drink.
So you're going to be recharged just like a battery.
Yeah. If you drink a bottle of crazy water, as opposed to a bottle of purified water that's the same quantity, you can go longer. You feel refreshed. You don't feel thirsty for longer.
You
My
know, that's
experience.
the way Coca-Cola was too back when they had cocaine as the main ingredient.
Yeah, you don't even get hungry for a while.
At some point, they're going to realize that it's not good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why everybody wore a headband back in the 80s, man. They were all had the coke sweats.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
No, it's
I,
interesting, the different places you go to, the different characteristics of the water and everything. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
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 It's here, just for the water out of our wells, it comes out of the ground at 117 degrees up here.
Wow.
Why?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just
That's pretty
the
cool.
makeup of the aquifer that's up here.
Yep.
A&M, College Station, and Bryan and Welborn Utility District are all in the same aquifer, and it comes out 117 degrees.
Man.
So in
I need to
wintertime, I
ask-
can go out there and get instant coffee and put it in a cup and just pour it directly out of the well and mix it up.
Wow. I don't know
Man,
if they.
hot showers.
I don't know if they fixed it or not. Probably because it's been since the early 2000s. But Glen Rose used to have the nastiest tap water, and it smelled and tasted like sulfur, like it was.
I was gonna say there's a lot of aquifers that end up having a lot of sulfur content in their water.
Yeah, I mean,
Ours
hydrogen
has real
sulfur.
heavy
Smell it.
mineral. Yeah, ours have a lot of minerals in it, but it's not anything bad like that.
But I'll tell you
it's
this:
hydrogen sulfide.
we went to there's a creek nearby that not a lot of people go to, and it has really clear water. We took our kids a few weeks ago, and you could walk down it, and the water's pretty warm because it's not very deep, right? So it gets warm by the sun, and there'd be spots where it's just ice cold, just freezing, and you look and you can see the water coming out of the cliffside, and that's what it is. It's the spring water where it meets the actual creek. It's probably 50 degrees or something. I mean, it's super cold. It is
That's
super
not where the
refreshing.
ghostly spirits are swimming with you.
Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? Well, let's
I'm just messing.
let's open things up for final thoughts.
No way, man! It's only 10:16.
Yeah, it's been an hour.
No.
Well, what do you have you want to talk about then, Dennis?
Moonshine.
Oh my
Man,
God.
there are so many people in New Mexico.
We are not
so
staying
many
here until 2:00, keeping you awake, Dennis.
that make moonshine, and we had some there at the festive board. I forgot to tell you that, or they didn't call it a festive board; they called it a table lodge. But it really
Hold
wasn't a
that
table
thought,
lodge.
Dennis. Hold that
Okay.
thought.
He's gonna get his banjo.
He's gonna have a drink of his moonshine.
I got
some at home too.
I got a case of Mountain Dew.
It's the same thing. Ricky Bobby.
I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew.
Let's pray, baby Jesus.
Baby Jesus, yeah. Well, that's not a banjo. It's a jar of water.
What's it got?
He's got a jar of water.
Sure is a jar of water.
Wow, nice.
Same jar of water, same recipe George Washington made.
Very nice.
Did you make that jar of water yourself?
No, I know a guy.
You got a guy?
Allegedly.
Very cool. Very cool. Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Dennis, before we wrap up, do you have anything to listen to on your way home?
Well, I typically just look up different things. There was somebody who was going to discuss the different books of tarot cards that I was going to look at. What do you got? Oh, shoot. You froze up. I froze up. Hold on.
I guess
I
so.
don't see daylight. There you are. There you are.
No, okay.
What were you going to recommend? I'm sure the listeners will want to know.
Oh, no, just send links to Rubicon Masonic Society, just in case.
Yeah, please do.
I would also
Please
suggest
do.
it's a podcast called Know Thyself.
That's a bit personal.
It's all esoteric, and it is.
Nice.
There's a lot of episodes. That's where I got my understanding, like the Fool and all that stuff. So, yeah, dude, it's deep.
Oh, okay, nice. Well, there's this one that I was going to watch that it's some frou weird. Well, I'm not going to say anything about the person, but it's somebody that's supposedly going to describe the different hermetic tarot cards that are out there right now that people can get their hands on, which I'm interested in seeing, because I know that there's the Golden Dawn deck, and then there's the Weight, there's the Duquette, there's the what's that other one? Dang it! I think I mentioned it earlier. It's Ceremonial Magic. No, that's the Duquette. And then the other one is, dang it, I think it's just like Hermetic Tarot, and I can't remember the person's name that did that one.
So I'm looking at.
There's the Thoth.
Is it Dowson?
Deck. Dowson, that's it. The Dowson deck.
Are these the black and white ones you were talking about?
Yes.
Those are interesting.
And then there's yes, I've got a deck.
Yeah, they're only like $20 on Amazon.
Yeah. And that one, you can actually, on the top and bottom, it actually reads out what the meaning is. So it's got the oh shit. I just ran over something.
Oh my
God.
God.
Got a new body.
Whoa, my. That's
funny.
Oh my God.
Wow. This turned into a hell of an episode, dude.
All right.
Whoa.
How long does tarot go back?
Well, technically, the cards that you see today only back to the 17th century, maybe the 15th century. And a lot of them were done, recently. But it does go back. Some of them go back a pretty long ways. But the ones that you see today, a lot of them were done in the 1900s. Mm-hmm. Like A.E. Waite's, his was like in the 1900s. and the people that were in the Golden Dawn with him. The what?
I was gonna say they existed, like you're right, like the ones that you usually associate with tarot were like early 1900s, but tarot, I mean, they were treated as playing cards for hundreds of years before. They weren't always used like they are now. They were just playing cards.
Right. It wasn't as far back as some people say, like the ancient mystery schools or whatever, but it was like several hundred years ago, like the 15th century or whatever, when they came about.
These are some cool cards. I'm about to get this deck. I kind of wish they had color, but
well, I understand, but they have so much symbolism in them, they don't need the color.
Yeah, you're right. It's
that's
packed.
The thing is that yes, it really, really just jumps out at you if there's certain things that you recognize.
Interesting.
Thanks, Scott. I just got that text. I appreciate that.
That ought to give you something good to listen.
Yeah, there was also another recent interview that you might find interesting too.
Which one's that?
Somebody that lost a bunch of weight recently and got interviewed for it.
Oh yeah.
It may have been a friend of yours or something, and he asked you to listen to it.
Yeah, Caesar Rubio. Yeah, he's been a friend of ours for a long time.
Yeah, Masonic Muscle. Masonic Muscle is a great podcast. You're right.
No, everybody out there is a good podcast to listen to. Jason Reichenberg. It's his debut in the podcast world, and except for with us, because you saw him here first. But then he did an interview with Caesar Rubio talking about his recent transformation, which is amazing. It is amazing. In fact, I need to do the same. I need to stop eating blizzards on my road trips and probably get out and walk about a mile every 200 miles I drive.
Yeah. So that was Masonic Muscle then. I'll have to listen to that.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Masonic Muscle. Yeah.
Caesar's awesome.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah, it's got to be a good interview. I should listen to that.
Whatever.
But Scott was first, so I better listen to his first.
Wow.
Not that you mentioned it 2 weeks ago. But no, listeners, if you're out there, Caesar is a great Mason, great brother from California, and I think it's only fitting that he had Jason on. Caesar talks about not only being physically fit, but mentally fit in Freemasonry, and we've got to feed the body and the intellect. So I think it's got to be a great episode.
Caesar says, "Yeah, you should check it out."
Oh, he's on the show. Hey. Yes, I will definitely check it out tonight.
Caesar's usually on here listening to us. He's not very active in the chat. He's probably lifting weights, like pumping iron as he listens to us. But he's usually in there listening.
We are not iron pumping material. I can tell you. If you're lifting 2.5 pound weights, listening to us, then that would be about proper.
Wow.
Yeah, and actually, it actually came clear yesterday on why I started this about a year ago, and because yesterday I spent probably about 4 hours using a chainsaw, chopping wood, hauling wood, and stuff like that. And had I tried that a year ago, I would have been good for maybe 20-25 minutes before I would just get over.
Until you yelled at your son and said, "Hey, come on!"
Right. But
you
I
got
mean,
a young body.
Yeah, but I mean, I seriously, like, I was able to actually, 90+ degree heat, and was able to actually go out and work on. I mean, so it just kind of brought to a head. It's like, oh yeah, this is why I'm doing this. It's stuff. So.
Yeah.
Man, I can't walk across the parking lot at Dairy Queen to get my blizzard in 90 degrees.
Yeah, I saw it was a clip. It was a guy. I don't know what the actual name of the job is, but when they're having construction, he's the guy that's standing there like slow down. He's holding the sign or whatever. And I saw a video, and there was a guy who's holding the sign, and you don't see what he's running from. I say running very loosely, but he moves to get out of the way, and the way he's like a big old fat guy, and he moves like, you ever have a dream you're trying to run and it feels like you're in water? That's what I imagine it would look like. Like he's trying to run. I would say he's speed walking, but that really is kind of even an insult to speed walkers, right? And my point is,
golly, that's so bad.
My point is, as men, we should never be in situations where we can't even move to save our own lives, because people depend on us for protection, right? If we can't take care of ourselves and get ourselves out of danger, like what if he was running to save a carriage, like a baby carriage, from rolling into the highway or something, right?
Right.
I mean, that'd be terrifying. So we have to take better care of ourselves.
Yeah, my reality hit me pretty hard after having my shoulder surgery and being out of commission for a little while, and realizing I couldn't use it for anything. I'm just now able to lift 10, 15 pounds with that arm. And, of course, when you're not lifting with one arm, you're not going to be lifting with the other arm.
Yeah.
And so I've gotten pretty bad over the past 6 months. So I need to really work to get back in shape. Fortunately, it was complete reconstruction, so I'll be able to do everything normal once I finally get built up. My doctor said it's going to take a year to get there.
Wow. Well, it's a pretty major surgery, so it's understandable.
Right. But yeah, I could still be walking. I shouldn't completely be lazy using my arm as an excuse.
Yeah. Catch a treadmill or something.
Well, shit, man. Just walk around the block at 104 degrees and you're going to lose some weight.
Yeah. Yeah. Heat strokes will do that to you.
I know. Oh my gosh. The other day at the hotel, I'm sitting there and I just had a Glenlivet neat, and I'm up in my hotel room and I start having chest pains. It's like, oh my God, I'm gonna die in the hotel. Nobody's gonna know. They're just gonna find my body. I'm gonna put some pants on, and so I'm sitting there panicking because I'm gonna die.
I'm surprised you didn't put a suit on. I was like, they're gonna find me looking good at least.
I'm gonna be ready. They can just throw me in the box. But exactly, because I had it right there. But anyways, I'm sitting there really kind of worried about it, but then I realized I'm not getting the clammy skin. I'm not getting any of that. But it was hurting up into my throat and in my chest, my throat, and kind of up, into my jaw. But then I thought, man, I just need to, maybe it's an anxiety attack. I started to drink a glass of water, and it was freaking air in my stomach pressing on my
burp.
Yeah, like I needed to burp, and oh my gosh, it just immediately went away.
Nice.
It like broke the bubble and immediately went away, and here I am. And that was really a wake up call, because all those thoughts in my head of how fat I've gotten lately and how little effort I put into my cardio and all that kind of stuff. And you think about how sharp we are right now as we are, but when you start working out, it really starts kicking in those endorphins that get your brain going.
Yeah.
And I just think about how sharp we could be if we actually put some effort into our fitness, our health and fitness before pumping out a paper.
Yeah. I always felt like every lodge should have a nice gym and just perk a membership. Because your body's a temple, right? Like you got to take care of your mind. You got to have a healthy body to have a healthy mind.
That would be freaking awesome.
It would. Just a perk of the membership.
That would.
Yeah. I mean, you still have I mean, ideally,
Yes.
lodge will have a nice gym, but also have, it have like a cigar lounge and stuff too. You can enjoy both sides of what life has to offer there. But yeah, man, like a nice, like it doesn't have to be huge, like a small gym, maybe like a small basketball court. You can shoot some hoops or something. I mean, your dues might have
Well,
to be
you
more
know,
than
there's-
$50 a year, but I mean, it comes with it. Maybe 75.
Right. Oh my gosh. There's there's memberships out there that are very similar to that, except that they don't have the lodge. But it's a place where fellows of whatever trade they are, which is usually some type of business class trade, get together and they do business in the club. And it's not really even a country club type place. Because it's in the city. It's in all mahogany and leather. It's a men's club. It's definitely a men's club, and they hang out. That's where business gets done, and then you go and play squash or work out or whatever. I mean, there's places like that, and
Yeah.
there's something to be said about something like that.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting experiment, really.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to start
bet.
an experiment like that, but I think it'd be interesting. I agree.
Well, free weights and stuff aren't really that expensive. You know, you can get a nice setup for your house with gym quality weights for a couple $1,000.
Mhm.
And so, say $4,000 to set up something decent and then a couple of $2,000 treadmills or whatever. But that would be an interesting experiment to try.
Just
Too
add
bad
to
we're
it.
not England and can't do the specialty lodges.
Yeah,
That would
Yeah.
be a good specialty lodge.
I agree.
You'd be surprised what you can do with dumbbells, man. Just dumbbells.
Yeah.
alone.
Kettlebells
That's where it all
too.
is.
Yeah, we can start
That's
with
where it all
dumbbells or
is.
something and get a little bit more every year. And I think if you say
Well,
like,
hell, most people can't use the 30-pound dumbbells. I mean, really, think about it. If you're doing that, you've got some serious muscle.
30 pounds.
Man, this freaking truck is wanting to kill me. They act like they drive for a living. They act like I'm just a spectator here.
Driving like you're in
But
South
yeah,
Texas.
I know. That would be a cool experiment to have a lodge that has its own perks of like a club membership.
Well, I think that ultimately would be the perk of having, it's a lodge building, but maybe multiple lodges meet there. But it's not just for lodge. Like if you're a member of any of these lodges, you have access to
Yes, you
the
have
weight
a
room.
cigar lounge.
You have a cigar lounge. You can play pool.
Yes, that would be pretty awesome
Yeah.
to have something like that.
I
I
think
live in the country. I could probably recreate it, but it would be an undertaking for me.
it would be an undertaking. Like I was saying the same thing. It's like I would like that, but I think that's maybe the direction lodges need to go. Ultimately, having something to offer, because we were talking about being balanced, right? A lodge should be balanced, and the more a lodge is used, the actual building's used, the more you're going to activity creates healthy lodges, right? And so but all activity doesn't have to be an event. You just need to have a reason for people to come to lodge, and you're building
Hey,
those
Jason.
fraternal bonds.
Yeah, Jason, how many spare rooms do you think we have in the cathedral right now? I would say there's at least seven or eight, and those are big.
Oh
rooms.
yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh, there's all sorts of unused rooms and empty spaces and.
Almost
It's
half of the basement
yeah.
floor, right?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
We
Set up
could,
a gym.
We could easily set that up in the cathedral.
But the issue is people have to be able to have access to it to really benefit from it. I don't know, like,
Right.
is your cathedral open regular hours? Or is it just...
It is during the day, pretty much, but we could always, instead of having the security system we have, just go to a different security system with an access code that's specific to people. With the fobs, go with the fobs,
Yeah.
and that way it tracks exactly who's going in and out.
Well, if you do like a fob, whenever someone goes suspended, if you can deactivate the fob, right?
Yeah,
so you don't have access to the
deactivate-
perks.
Yeah, it's kind of like that movie, The Office Space. We just stopped cutting the check.
Yeah,
we
there you
just
Well, I mean, that's how gyms
stopped
work.
writing the check.
They give you like
Solved its
a
problem.
gyms will give you like a little fob, and you use it to get in. And if you cancel your membership or just stop paying, the fob just doesn't get you in anymore. So you just have that fob
Yep.
that gets you into the building. And if you move your membership or you get suspended or expelled or anything like that, your fob just didn't work anymore. You don't get in.
Right. Well, and it would also create a lot more activity within your lodge. You'd
Absolutely.
have people visiting the lodge a lot more, and so you'd have a good reason to have, a lodge meeting on Tuesday night, a lodge meeting on Thursday night, or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with different lodges.
Yeah.
And then you would have membership activity at each one of them because they're going to go work out afterwards anyways.
Yeah. Well, and it could also be like you could bring a friend. You can bring Larry Scott. Thanks for coming on, man. But there's no
Take care,
restrictions.
Scott. Thank you.
If you have a friend and you think he might be a good Mason or he's curious, bring him. He can come work out with you. Maybe meet some of the guys. Maybe head to the cigar lounge, play some pool, get to know these people. And then you don't have to you still want to have like a prolonged experience, but you're not just seeing these guys once a month for 6 months or however long you want to do it. I'm
Right.
seeing him around and about. He's not putting on airs or anything. He's been lifting weights or he's been playing pool. I can see how he actually acts when he's competing with people and things like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. If the tenants are working.
Yeah.
Real.
I would love to see something like that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then have a library and a nice library in a different section of it. Like I was telling you, they have those clubs that are mahogany with the leather couches and chairs and all that kind of stuff, and just sitting rooms to where you can go grab a book
Mhm.
and sit and study or have a group study or something. That would be badass. So Caesar, when you talk your guys into doing that in California, you got to give us credit for it. I'm just saying. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
We're probably not the first ones, but we talked about it in detail.
Devin says he's bummed his lodge only meets once a month, but now it gives him time to travel. Yeah, man, use that time to travel, man.
Yes, that's what I do. Well, I have, the lodge that I'm attending regularly right now, it meets twice a month, but I still travel because I can't get enough.
Cool.
But really, I think it's also part of our obligation to, help where we can, and that's a lot of the reason why I travel.
No, you said something very wise, and that was road time or read time. That's how you get. You only get the most out of Freemasonry. You have to do one of the two. Road time or
both.
read time, or both. Yeah.
Yeah, or both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to do both. It's just when
Just not at the
when
same
you're not
time.
doing one, you should. Yeah, I try to knock them out at the same time.
But no,
I go
I
to a
people
lodge
just
that
have-
meets only once a month. I was saying I go to a lodge that only meets once a month, and I thought that was normal
Mhm.
when I first joined. And so my worshipful master at the time, he would get hungry and say, "Hey, let's go together and go to this other lodge," and that's how I learned to travel. Because he would go eat at the lodge, and then we'd hang out and go to the lodge.
nice.
And I was
Yep.
like, "Oh, okay." So I learned to travel because my worshipful master was hungry because his wife was out of town.
That's awesome.
What's that picture of the guy that has all those Masonic stickers on the back of his truck? He's like, I haven't had dinner at home since 1973 or something like that. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Jason didn't like that joke.
Well,
Was it your truck, Jason? Is that why?
It might have been.
Well, and there's some truth to that. There's a lot of older Masons, and those are usually the guys that don't always put more than $1 in the till, and that's okay because they kind of need that because they've lost a spouse, and they need that fellowship, and they need that, they need a good meal, and so there's brothers that do that specifically for that reason. And now if you're 30 years old and doing that, I take issue with it. But if you're But if you're 60 years old and doing that, I kind of get it, and that's okay.
Yep, I agree.
And I've seen it a lot. And sometimes we complain about some people that do it because they just, they have the money, they just don't want to spend it on the lodge. But there's other people that, that they put in their time. They deserve to have a little bit given back to them.
Agreed. All right, are we good for final thoughts now, since it's 10:42?
Now that I've pushed you into the next millennial, yes.
Yes. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share before we wrap up tonight? Nobody?
I just want to reiterate the September 14th esoteric teaching up at Roy City Lodge coming up. It's coming around the corner.
Heck yeah, man.
Yes, esoterics, the internal and external.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, and the week before that, if you wanna be a road warrior, just hitch your wagon onto my truck. So the last weekend of August is the festive board down in Houston, the Holland Lodge annual festive board, and then the next week, September 7th, is going to be the Lexington degree, and that will be following a Grandmaster's banquet this year, which is awesome. And then of course the weekend right after is the Masonic event of the internal and the external, with some very good speakers. I'm very excited about it.
Heck yeah, man. I'm pumped. I'm looking forward to it. I just wish I didn't have to follow Cody. I'll be sweating like you were with Robert.
Right. I love these events because we get to sit and listen to everybody else as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to learn just as much as we get to give. And so it's these kind of things, man, they fill my cup.
Absolutely.
For real.
Cool. Anyone else?
In fact, this whole week is filling my cup.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything to want to share? If not, I'll point out. Again, thank you guys for taking time out of your Sunday late evening to come on here, and this is where I get my Freemasonry every week. Like, I travel and I do stuff, but unless I'm going to like a festive board or a conference or something, this is where I'm getting most of my Freemasonry. These aren't conversations that most lodges are having, unfortunately. And I made the challenge before, and I stand by it. We need to be sure that whatever we learn here, that we take back to our home lodges and wherever we go. Because if we're enjoying these conversations, other guys are looking for the same thing, right? And most lodges are just these desiccated husks that need some watering. And this is the kind of water that they need. This is what the nourishment is that they need. And so take it back. Like, if you sit here and nod your head, even if you're not in this inner circle, if you're listening to this video later, or if you're in chat, if you're sitting there nodding your head, agreeing with anything, take it back. And just because it's easy to assume that you might be the minority on some thoughts, but if you agree, and we all agree, then it's not a minority. I didn't mean to rhyme like that, but usually people have the same thoughts. They just aren't. Everyone just assumes they are the only ones. They don't say anything. If you're sitting there shaking your head, agreeing with what is being said on this or any other podcast that we've not podcast, but any other episode we've had or anything like that, or if you listen to the podcast broadcast that we've had, and you agree with any of it, there are other guys at your lodge that will agree with it too. And if they don't, then start having. Either way, you need to start having that education. Share it. But I appreciate all you taking the time. Again, anyone listening to this, please be sure you like and share. Be sure you subscribe. If you want to get in on this, what's going on here, there is our inner circle that you can join, and you can participate in these conversations like this. And these aren't the only ones we have. Sometimes we just have it where it's just us and nobody from the outside gets in. And so there's lots of benefits. Plus, you get ad-free content. So definitely consider becoming a member. If you're not a member, I'll post a link in the chat here shortly. But other than that, thank you all for coming in here. Happy Masonic birthday, Dennis. And I'll just repeat it. If you're not getting the Freemasonry yet you expected, read Time Road Time. That's where it is. That's why we're called travelers. That's why the traveling man is a concept. Because you have to get out. You have to experience new things. Books, roads, that's the way to do it. Thanks again, everybody.
Oh yeah. And with what you're saying about other people feeling the same way, it's always said that if somebody is upset with, when you get one person that gives you bad feedback, there's always 10 to 20 more that never said anything. Well, the same goes with good as well. And with exactly what you were saying, if the 5 of us that were on this show tonight, if we think about it, there's probably 100 other people that feel exactly the same way that we do, that don't say anything. And hopefully they're listening. And if they're not listening, maybe it's up to some of our listeners out there to let them know that there is an avenue. And yeah, we get kind of corny sometimes and we get off topic sometimes, but that's what keeps it fun, and that's what keeps us. That's the fellowship portion. We do have, and that's something to be said about our broadcast, is that we do have the education, we have the fellowship, we have the shared experiences and shared understanding with each other. And that's what makes us close. Mm-hmm. Even if we're far apart, that's what makes us close. And that's probably why you have that feeling that this is where you get your Mason, that this is what fills your cup. Yep. Because of those type of feelings that occur because of that kind of interaction. That's the same kind of stuff, that interpersonal relationship that people are looking for when they walk through our doors. Yep. When the 77%, like I was talking about earlier, 77% of the people looking for membership are millennials. Facts. This is not pie in the sky stuff. This is facts. And, if you think about it, these people grew up on the internet. It's the first generation that from birth to current time, they have had access to the internet and the information highway. Facts. Mm-hmm. These people are educated to some extent. These people are, and it may not be on exactly, all of our secrets, because you can read something and that still doesn't give you all the information unless you experience it. But these guys, think about this. These guys have been online playing these games, trying to get that, having that fellowship and interpersonal relationships via video games with their friends as they were growing up and into their teenage and young adult years. Well, guess what? Now, when you get to be 30, 40 years old, you start needing that face-to-face time. You need that kind of interpersonal relationship. You need something that feels a little more solid, a little more grounded, and that's where Freemasonry comes in. And these guys are joining our fraternity, and we're dropping the ball. Mm-hmm. 89% are dropping the ball whenever they request to become Mason. Now, not to say that full 89% needs to be a Mason. However, if we're only getting, 10% of that 89%, that's 100% of what we're not getting now. Right?
Math checks out.
So, yeah, right. Right? Smart people? No.
60% of the time it works every time.
Yes, absolutely. So now we're all on the same page. I'm glad to know that.
Nice.
So with all that being said, we have to keep in mind that unless we're talking about what we believe in, and unless we're preaching what we're teaching and teaching what we're preaching, unless we're talking or walking the walk on what we're talking. When we talk the talk, we got to walk the walk. So if you're not out there having conversations with your friends and coworkers at work about, you know, what they've done this past weekend and what they're doing this week, if you're not having those kind of conversations, maybe it's time to start meeting your coworkers and doing that kind of stuff. Maybe it's time to stop having the superficial water cooler stuff. Maybe it's time to become disinterested to the drama and interested in the relationships that you could possibly build within your own workplace or within your club where you're working out. You know, there's opportunities there, and we don't have to ask people to join. But until we get to know people and open ourselves up to the opportunity, make ourselves available, then we're not going to hear those people when they do search for us. When they do have the questions, we're not going to be there to answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the internet. And speaking of, make sure your lodge has a good website and a good way to channel those emails to people that are going to answer them in a quick and timely manner.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody can be as efficient as Hillcrest, where you're going to get a reply within the hour. However, you should at least be able to get a reply within the day or the next day. And you don't say, hey, come on by the lodge. You start asking questions, qualifying questions, to make sure that they're the type of person you want to even invite to the lodge.
Exactly.
Or invite out to drinks. You know, you gotta start with those qualifying questions online. And if you don't know those kind of qualifying questions, reach out to us. We can certainly help you with that.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about the fact that the agenda isn't all for the secretary to do. All the work is not the secretary's job. The master of the lodge has responsibility there.
Mm-hmm.
If you need help on that agenda, reach out to us. We've got that template that we can send you that has the best in practice with the agenda and with how to handle your officers and all that. Ask Brad Hoff; he loved it, and it's made a real difference in his own lodge. So we have resources for you, so that you can be the resource to the profane and the resource to your lodge. That's what we're about with Masonic Improvement. We live it, we work it, we bullshit it until we fake it till we make it. We cuss so that people get offended and leave.
Wow.
We dream about the day we can put our head on somebody else's body. But either way, it's fun, and we love you. We thank you. Keep it between the points.
Drive safe, Dennis.
Take care.